I'm not even live on YouTube though, and I'm recording the podcast. That's okay. Go live on YouTube. So for everybody, so we're about live now on YouTube, and people can see the screen. You can see what the screen looks like, right?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous, really. I
Wait,
mean,
what screen am I looking at? Your webcam?
no, you can see what's being broadcast right now over the airwaves, right?
Yeah, I
It's
see
kind
it.
of funny. Yeah, my guest today, my guest or co-host is not appearing on camera today because she didn't feel like it.
That's a good
Womp,
summation.
womp, womp. So I just have to deal with it. So should I take myself off camera too?
I think it's a vibe, right? We can be like the orbs in It's a Wonderful Life, like the angels in It's a Wonderful Life at the beginning, like the stars talking to each other and they blink when they talk. That's a vibe.
Yeah. All right. Well, sure. I had to do this with Hoax Wars the other day because he's an anonymous content creator. You're not entirely anonymous. Are you the only place? Are you the only person on Earth named Jelena? By the way.
No.
Oh, okay. You have a unique name though. Like you own the web domain jelena.net, for example.
Yeah. The Chinese won't sell me Jelena.com, and it's really a frustration. So if
How do
anyone
you
wants to
know?
lend me 6K,
$6,000 to get jelena.com.
yeah, that'd be a
Yeah.
great gift for any
I
aspiring
gotta
husbands out
I
there.
gotta sell altnews.com. If anybody's interested in buying altnews.com, I have
No.
to sell it. Well,
Why?
what am I gonna do with it?
I don't know, but it's worth something. It's valuable.
Is it?
I
It is
think so.
valuable, yes, but it also is valuable to have the money associated with it if somebody wants to buy it, you know?
Yeah, you're right.
Like money has value too.
Yeah, so how about we ask someone in the audience who has the funds to make a generous offer for that web domain?
Oh yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, if anybody wants altnews.com, let me know. It's not cheap though, because it
Don't,
is a good web domain.
yeah.
Yeah, for the right person, for the right like wealthy individual. So you're not appearing on camera. How much would it cost for you to appear on camera
Like
today?
today?
Yeah, like
Today,
if
there's
I
no
said,
price. There's no
like we
price
have
today.
Rockfin, we have people out watching on Rockfin right now, right? There are 16 people tuned in. What if somebody was like, "Oh, I'll tip $50 if you're on camera today"? Would you do it?
No price would pay me today because I
No.
really am over it today. No.
Okay. Well, thanks for joining me on the show, even though you are, as you say, over it. We
I
appreciate
mean,
you. We appreciate you. We appreciate you gracing us with your presence.
I love to do the show. It's a fun show. I mean, and to answer your question, right, no one is going to pay me to do it today. But if you wanted to pay Nathan and I to do this show, we do have a price that you could pay us at, probably. Now,
Yeah.
there are people we will not work for, and I think we could list that out at some point if it ever comes to that. But I
It's
would
a very
appreciate offers.
it's a short list of people we won't work for.
I don't know.
No, I'm just kidding. We're very principled people. I want to talk today on the show about quiet quitting. Okay, we can change the banner and say the show has started now. I want to talk about quiet quitting, which is a thing. Have you heard about it?
I have heard about it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you feel qualified to discuss it. We're going to talk about the IRS, like it says in the title. Just because Robert Reich came out with a video defending the IRS, funding of the IRS. So I wanted to just go ahead and play that. That guy is the biggest shield. You don't know who he is yet, huh?
Does he tweet a lot? Is he one of the tweeters?
Yeah, he tweets a lot, and he's basically a socialist, but he justifies like anything to do with like government spending. Those things are all good, and then he just attacks rich people and corporations.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Boring.
basically is a socialist and doesn't understand economics at all. Was completely wrong about inflation. Said it would be transitory. Had to say he was wrong, but claims that inflation is not caused by government spending. He claims like printing money does not cause inflation, according to Robert Reich.
So
Reich,
he's
Reich.
like the Brooklyn dad account for economics.
Yeah, kind of. kind of like that, basically. Yeah, and he's written books before. He's widely cited and very vertically challenged. Like he's short.
How short?
Five. I don't know. I wonder if we can look that up. Um, what if I ask Siri?
I'm glad you're doing this because we had a comment. I don't know what video it was on, but it was like, "Hey Nathan, it would be great if you could look up the things that no one knows the answer to. Great value there." And I was like, "Yeah, you're
Oh,
right. Let's
cool.
learn
How
things
tall
together."
is Robert Reich?
Um,
Here's what I found. Robert Reich. Oh my God. 4'10" and a half.
no.
Yeah, that's what it says. I asked Siri how tall, and there's an article called "The True Measure of a Man." Hold on, is it really about him? Yeah, Robert Reich. Yeah, he's 4'10" and a half. Yeah,
And there's, you know you're short when there has to be a New York Times article about how tall you are.
yeah. It's called "The True Measure of a Man" by Mark Leibovich in March of 2002. He was he was Secretary of Labor under Bill Clinton. This guy. Robert
Oh,
Reich. But
gross.
now he's like a social media thing. He tweets things that people like. He says corporations are the reasons for price increases. Greedy corporations.
Whatever, Robert Reich.
What do you think of that?
I mean, obviously that's not true.
Right. Right. If you I know it's so crazy, but it's so obvious that that's not true and there are so many ways you can debunk that you would think people couldn't get away with saying it, but then he just says it. Because if greedy corporations were the reason that prices went up, then prices would just go up all the time, right? Because corporations are just that's the feature of corporations is they're supposed to be greedy, right?
Right.
So wouldn't we constantly have inflation if it was just because of greedy corporations? Instead, we have inflation after we print a lot of money.
I
So we
think the
print a lot of money,
problem
we have inflation, and then the inflation is a fault of greedy corporations.
exactly. And the problem when people say things like the inflation is because of greedy corporations, it's so outrageously false that trying to explain why it's not true makes you sound like a crazy person. Like there's
Right.
no way around it. There's no way to reason with that. I think this plays into the topic of discernment that we keep running into with the show. Like, what is discernment? Like, can you teach that? Can you teach people how to know when something's bullshit?
I don't know. I feel like I would try to teach people that. Yeah,
Yeah, I think it's a
I
good thing to
would.
try, you know.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm going to show this video about why the FBI or no, why the IRS is good. Why it's good that we spent $80 billion on the IRS. I have a few tweets from Trump today, or not tweets because he's not on Twitter, that people are talking about. I have like Joe Rogan saying you should vote for Republicans. I have this crazy CDC video, which is just disturbing in many ways, which I'll play maybe to start out the show. And then there are some comments between the Peter Ducey and Jean Pierre, which are always great moments. Seems like Ducey is the only quotable reporter. He's the only guy in the whole room that asks the questions you want to know the answers to.
Yeah, he reminds me of like the Alex Stein version of a press reporter.
Yeah, right, right. The Alex Stein
Like
version.
they answered the same call sheet, you know?
Right,
It's the
right,
same vibe.
right. Same vibe. And so we'll talk about those things. Okay, well, and then yeah, that's what we're going to do on this show. So thanks for tuning in. If you want to support the show, give me a tip on Rockfin. Go to rockfin.com/lifttheveil and you can tip there. You can also go to our t-shirt shop, truthclothing.io. I'm wearing a cool propaganda shirt today. And also that's at truthclothing.io. And then, or if you want to do Cash App, there's so many different ways. I could
This
list
is why
everything. I could take 10 minutes. I could say, okay, you can also become a subscriber on Rockfin for $9.99 a month. That's really good. And then you get access to premium content over on Rockfin. You can also subscribe to my blog, which is at lifttheveil.com. No, lifttheveil.substack.com. That's $7 a month. and that's a great way to support the show. Or you can use Cash App, like I said, which is $ LTV 411, or Patreon, which is still up. Sure, you can do that for whatever amount. Patreon.com/Lift the Veil. And then for Jelena, you have all your links at one place at
Wait,
Jelena.
wait, 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 wait.
What?
For Jelena, let me do my promo. I want to do my promo. You do
Oh,
your
okay.
promo, I do my promo.
Okay.
For Jelena, you can go to youtube.com/Jelena, Jelayna, for those of you listening. And that's where I'm doing my experimental podcast. It's very experimental. If you like raw, real, cringy sometimes content, go over to my channel and watch my evolution process. Thank
Right.
you.
Right. And just be warned, she decided that being on camera is a little too much to deal with, and probably the next show you won't even get to see her.
Well, I'm playing with that idea. Listen, all I know is I'm not camera ready now. And if people want me to be on camera more, they need to pay me. And I'm not talking I'm not talking to the viewers. I'm talking to like whatever secret billionaires we have that watch this show. I know you found us. Fund this, Musk. I'll take your money. I'll take your blood money.
Oh boy. Could you go work for the IRS, do you think?
No.
This is what I was thinking about the IRS thing, and I was talking to you about it. Is it seems 87,000 people they say they want to hire, and the job requirements are that you have to be willing to kill people, right? And you have to be willing to work nights and weekends, or all the time, be on call all the time, including holidays and weekends. And then I don't know how much it pays, but those things are required. Like, you have to work all the time, and you have to be willing to kill people. Those two things, to me, now after having a job, I feel like I know more about working and stuff.
Mm.
Those two things, to me, I feel like people don't want to do those things. Like, people want their work-life balance, Like, who wants to work 24/7?
Nobody.
Nobody, right? And then also, how do you know really that you're going to enjoy killing people?
You're
Because
right.
that's a hard one. Um, and you just don't, and it's really hard to know in advance that you're okay using deadly force, because it's unlikely that you ever have before. So it could be that when it comes down to it, you really don't like it at all, and maybe you just said that to get the job.
I do have I I agree with you. And I have like a conspiracy hypothesis about what they're going to end up hiring for these kind
Okay.
of roles.
Yeah, like, where are they going to find like 87,000 psychopaths who also don't want any time off?
I'll tell you where.
Okay.
Do you remember the war with Russia and Ukraine?
Do I remember? I remember there being something like earlier this year, something about Russia and Ukraine. I can't just remind me. Something
Right.
happened over
Yeah.
there.
So like there was a
Ukraine
war.
is
They LARPed out some kind of war, something they were calling a war. I don't really know what it was. I saw clips on TV and they said this is what's happening. And I think it's still going on, right? Are they still doing it? This is relevant to what
I've heard
what
of
I'm
nuclear. I've heard that there's a nuclear plant that's under threat.
right.
They've sent over some people for that. So that's going on. I heard they were distributing iodine pills, for in case people suffer from radiation poisoning from this nuclear plant.
Well, one other thing that's been going on for a while is they've been giving out TPS visas to people from Ukraine, which is a temporary protected status visa.
Isn't it TPS reports that are what they do in office space?
I don't know. You have to look that up. I don't know that reference.
You don't know the reference of Office Space? See, you're a little younger than me. Have you watched the movie Office Space?
Yeah, I've seen Office Space. I just don't remember quotes and things from movies.
Well, oh, really?
Yeah, I can watch a movie 10 times and not remember. 51st Dates is my favorite movie because it's like my life and I never remember what happens either. So
It's like your life?
Yeah, like 50 First Dates. I relate to Drew Barrymore's character in that movie.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm asking about the
Hold on
TPS.
though. Yeah, but I'm just saying in the movie, the TPS reports well, we're going to talk about quiet quitting. So
Right.
the TPS reports were just something that it was like this process where everything you did, you have to do a TPS report. And one of the guys at work wasn't doing his TPS reports, you know, and
Oh
so they
no.
kept. So he got reminded by four of its bosses that he wasn't doing his TPS reports. He said, "Oh, it's just never." Every time, he's four people have to tell him he's not doing TPS reports. So so anyway. There's TPS reports that have to do with the Ukraine.
Well, not reports, but TPS visas.
Okay.
And the short version of it is that these are visas that allow you to get a job in the United States. Not all visas allow you to do that. There's a lot of visas that you have to like go through extensive applications in order to be able to work in the US. But all of the Ukrainian who knows what people that we gave this visa status, and I say who knows what because we don't really know much about which people from Ukraine we gave the ability to live and work in the US to. Do you? Are you familiar with
No,
that?
no, no.
What I am familiar with is stories about the Azov battalion and the types of people that they might want to use in, for instance, a job that requires you to use lethal force on American citizens.
Right. So
So
you're saying we're recruiting Ukrainians to do it? Is that what you're saying?
I would say that we've already recruited a lot of people using these kind of loopholes in the system, that included, to do things like this.
I
That would be
see.
my hypothesis, my conspiracy hypothesis. Because
I see.
going back to your point, I don't see what kind of normal person would volunteer to do a job that involves you killing someone over money.
Right, exactly. Just in general, that's like a serious thing to ask of somebody that they're willing to use deadly force when you think about it.
Right.
I was just thinking in relation to my job, like I had to do cold calls and I said I was okay with it, but then when it came down to it, I didn't like doing it. So I was thinking, what about that? Like if you say that you're willing to do it, but then it's like you don't want to kill people anymore after you start. You say, "Oh, I just said that. I didn't realize
Right.
I'd really have to kill people for, for their taxes or whatever."
Yeah. And it's so expensive to hire and fire people. Like, the US government is not going to want to waste resources hiring weak bellied Americans who aren't going to shoot their neighbor. Like, they're going to go for the people that they know they can rely on to fill this posting.
Right. Like during the job interview process, they maybe ask you, like, you might have to kill somebody, right? Like you're okay with that.
I did have one edit though. Do we know that it's actually 87,000 people that would be in this type of role? Or, is that just general? There's lots of
I
roles
don't
at the
know.
IRS.
Good question. Excellent question. The job posting we saw may have been for management roles. And it could be that regular rank and file IRS agents are not required to kill people and be on call 24/7. It's possible.
Yeah. Because like
So
87K militant members, that's like a lot.
it's a lot, right? It's a lot, especially with unemployment so low and people quiet quitting their jobs and stuff. It just seems difficult. People don't want to work anymore. That's what I hear. And actually, it's how I feel a lot of times. Is people don't want to work, and so it seems it'd be hard to get people to sign up for a job that's that demanding, and without really paying a lot. And I guess that's why it's $80 billion that they're spending. 80 billion. So you want to hear why it's good? You want me to show you the thing?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. All right, I'll show you. Why? I'll just show you this video. It's from Robert Reich. I don't know how to say his name. So he made this video, which is like a TikTok video, basically. And this is where I got the screenshot from. IRS funding is good, actually. Okay. And it says you are being lied to about the IRS.
The IRS is set to receive its largest funding increase in years thanks to the Inflation Reduction Act. You know who should be worried about this? Wealthy Americans who dodge taxes. Recent figures estimate that the richest 1% are hiding more than 20% of their earnings from the IRS,
Good for
accounting for
them.
more than a third of all
Yeah.
unpaid federal taxes. Some
Amen.
estimates show that collecting all unpaid federal income taxes from the wealthiest Americans could generate anywhere from $200 billion to $1.75 trillion over the
It's not
decade.
shit.
So why hasn't our government been able to collect all that untaxed money from the richest of the rich? Because the IRS has been underfunded and severely understaffed, thanks in large part to a decades-long campaign from Republicans to transfer wealth to the top.
It just makes me, when he says that, he's like, oh, the IRS has been getting smaller thanks to Republicans. And you're like, oh, really? Okay, thanks. You just gave me a reason to vote Republican. You just told me the IRS got smaller under Republicans, right?
Yeah. And I don't want to shoot Elon Musk so that we can get 200 billion extra dollars in the government. That's nothing. Even if I think it's good they're hiding money.
Yeah, I know. Right. I agree.
Let them do something.
What's the government going to do with it? At least, Elon Musk is maybe going to buy Twitter with whatever money he's saving from taxes, right?
Right.
But even then, anyway. So this is what he's saying. This is this is it though. This is from Inequality Media, Civic Action. He calls himself Inequality Media. So it's convincing people that more IRS agents, $80 billion and more IRS agents is good because they're going to go after the 1% and they're going to make 200 billion, maybe more if they can steal enough money from people.
Wait, do me a favor and go back to the very beginning. Yes, hold on. Go back to the very beginning of the video.
Mm-hmm.
There.
Mm-hmm.
This is so insulting. Do you know who this is? Do you know what you're looking at?
That's SpongeBob SquarePants.
Yeah. That's SpongeBob fucking SquarePants at the beginning of this propaganda video.
The IRS is set to receive its largest
for what reason?
In years, thanks
to show big muscles. 80 billion for the IRS.
What do you say that the image of SpongeBob with the big muscles that look like he got from a vaccine injury with the 80 billion, is there any relationship there?
No.
No, the answer is no.
So what do you think the intention is with employing imagery like that?
They're trying to get us to think this is like a fun poppy video, you know?
Yeah.
It's so obvious. It's one of those things that even if you articulate it, like you look like the crazy person. But I'm literally like, look, the propaganda from these Nazis in charge. Sorry, we're on YouTube. Sorry. Anyway, that's all I wanted to point out because that really bothered me that they used SpongeBob against me. I grew up on SpongeBob, so I'm upset for all the millennials. That's all. Yeah,
right. Yeah, well, that's this guy, he makes these poppy videos, you know. He makes these poppy videos, and I assume this went out on TikTok or something. So here he is talking about how the bad Republicans cut the good IRS, and then they weren't able to go after rich people.
Thanks in large part to a decades-long campaign from Republicans to transfer wealth to the top. Over the past 10 years, the IRS's budget has been reduced by roughly 20%. Its staffing is at a level not seen since 1973, although the American population is about a third larger now. On top of that, the tax returns of the wealthy are very difficult, time-consuming, and incredibly costly to audit without proper resources.
Just tells you, like, maybe that's the problem. Right?
Yeah.
Like,
these are questions.
Maybe that's a problem. Maybe taxes shouldn't be so complicated.
Mm-hmm.
Like, maybe we could reform the tax code and make it simpler, and then it wouldn't cost so much to hire all these eggheads and like hired killers to go after people. I know, it's crazy. The arguments that he doesn't make, he says, oh yeah, it's really hard to audit people because taxes are so complicated. And instead of saying what we should do is make taxes simpler and make it so that you don't even need an IRS, you can just be automatically audited. But no. All right, hold on. Here we go.
It's harder for the IRS to go after the wealthiest Americans who avoid paying their fair share. As a result, just 2% of the richest Americans had their taxes audited in 2019. That's down from 16% in 2010. Meanwhile, the poorest Americans, who often claim a tax credit known as the Earned Income Tax Credit, are 5 times more likely to get audited because their tax returns are less complex and because of pressure from congressional Republicans to root out incorrect payments of that tax credit. When the IRS can't function properly, all taxpayers are not off the hook evenly. And the result is a tax system stuck in a cycle where the working class bears the brunt, while the rich hoard wealth that could be used to invest in America. So don't believe the lies coming from the oligarchs and their propaganda machine. It's all fear mongering. The 1% have an incentive to keep the IRS hobbled and unable to excavate their hidden wealth. They also know the public is against them.
Check this out.
Boosting the IRS budget to
Look at
strengthen
this.
tax enforcement on high-income taxpayers is a popular policy supported by more than 2/3 of registered voters.
What do you think? 68% are in favor of raising the IRS budget. You think that's possible?
No. This is propaganda. These are numbers they made up because 6 and 8 look nice together. I know because that's my birthday. And it's the number that they used in the Squid Games show. That was the secret code in order to get into the game. So no, that's not a real number.
I see. See, you know. They say it's a University of Maryland poll. 68% of registered voters are in favor of raising the IRS budget. I wonder if they're in favor of raising it $80 billion.
But like, what even is the University of Maryland? That's a good question, right? Like, is that just where the CIA agents and the FBI people go to school? You know what I mean? Like, fuck this poll.
Most likely. I mean, sure, possibly. Well, I'm just saying. This is this kind of stuff.
IRS funding is a good thing.
IRS
it means
funding.
The agency can finally go after the real freeloaders in America, the super rich.
God, crazy, huh? Inequality media civic action, he calls it. Yeah, I don't believe they're just going to go after the super rich. Sorry.
But if they are, like, this ad and this plan is total Civil War incitement because they basically list the MAGA dream team as people they want to go after. It's like, we want to get Trump's money. We want to get Musk's money. We're going to even go after the Amazon guy. And you guys might not like him, but I know you use Amazon. So we're going to go after him and fuck Amazon up. And it's going to be like, no. No, you're not. So.
Well, so they are supposedly trying to hire all these agents, though, supposedly. And, speaking of taxes. Okay, so that's it. I just wanted to show that because I thought it was so crazy. Robert Reich is like a crazy person who constantly says things that are totally not true. And he's a Berkeley professor and he's supposedly an economist. And he constantly says things that are just categorically false because he's some kind of weird socialist and he's like not even 5 feet tall.
Yeah, everyone in positions of power fits that description, basically. It's like they're always wrong and they're not very tall. And they're paid a lot of money and allowed to be wrong over and over and over again. And that's why I don't feel bad about not being a success in traditional ways, because this system is clearly rigged. What the fuck is this nonsense?
Yes.
Excuse my language.
Exactly. Check this out. Speaking of taxes and how AI can be used for bad things. Okay. We know about AI taking over. And they're going to use AI to get crypto taxes, I propose, in the future. The future, they'll use AI to check out your crypto and automatically tax you. Undeclared pools in France uncovered by AI technology. So, undeclared pools.
What?
Yeah. So they fed some AI technology satellite images, I guess. And then they taxed people for having a pool because it raised their property value.
Yo.
Yeah. That's what happened.
What the fuck are the French doing? Are they also having a revolution soon? They need it.
I know. So That's what they're doing in France. They're using AI to find your pool so then they can tax you for having a pool. That's pretty bad.
Shit.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. So I wanted to show you that story. I wanted to show you that Donald Trump is calling for the FBI. Well, he's calling for a new election.
Like of the old, like the one we had in 2020?
Yeah, redo.
A redo. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's that. Let me show you. That's
Wait,
true.
but as you're pulling that up, just to go back to the AI thing, how does AI even know that you have a pool? And also, they're going to be able to do that with underground bunkers soon, huh? That's probably what
Yeah,
it's really for.
maybe. Well, it's probably hard to spot from satellite view. You can probably hide your bunker
But like, what
under
if the
under
satellites?
a canopy or something.
But don't they have satellites that can like tell depth, like depth
Hold
perception?
on.
Like that's how they find all the missing girls in the,
What
crime
what
shows.
what'd you say? My earphones came unplugged. What'd you say?
Don't they have satellite technology types of things where you can like gauge the difference in depth? Like you could find a bunker.
Oh, you mean something that uses some kind of ground penetrating radar?
Sure, I guess that's the phrase for it. Whatever technology they're not telling us about.
Yeah, they'll be able to do that in the future. That's how they find ruins in the jungle. They use like, but it's different because it's above ground. I don't know if they can find your underground bunker yet from the sky easily, but
Okay,
maybe
but
in the future. Do you have one, or what? If you did have one, would you tell me?
no comment on both occasions there.
Okay.
I did have a viewer request though, just to throw by you. Do you look into Tartaria? I can't say the word Tartaria stuff.
Yes.
Have you gone down that rabbit hole?
Yeah. Tartaria normally comes with mud flood, and that's some crazy shit right there.
Would you want to talk about that more?
No, there's not much to talk about Tartaria. Like it was an area in Asia where there maybe was some kind of civilization. And then, but I'm not sure it was real advanced. There's like not that much on Tartaria. And then a lot of Tartaria has to do with mud floods. Have you heard about the mud flood theories?
Yeah,
Yeah. Have you seen the pictures that they used to prove there were mud floods?
right. Yeah, I went down that
Like
rabbit hole.
buildings. Yeah. Like
Hmm.
buildings that are built on a hill, for example.
Hmm.
Yeah. What do you think?
I asked because I'm kind of cultivating a unpopular opinion on the Tartaria thing myself. Um, and I wanted to maybe start exploring that more. What I think is that something happened that we should take account of in order to avoid replicating it. I think that there wasn't just a natural disaster. There was something that was caused by the actions of whoever was running that empire, which I don't really know much about. So if there's any experts in the audience, that's just a topic that I'm interested in.
Tartaria?
Yeah, well, the idea of a prior civilization or Earth or way of doing things, hidden technology, free energy that disappeared from the planet for some kind of crazy instant reason.
Mm,
Um,
okay. Well, what about like the flood though? That the flood about 12,000 years ago that people talk about,
yeah,
the greater Dryas comet thing. You know about that?
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, there probably was advanced civilization, but I don't know if it had to do with Tartaria. But there certainly were advanced civilizations that
I just think,
existed before
yeah,
some kind of cataclysm.
right, right. And Tartaria might just be a recent one, maybe, potentially.
I don't
That's
know.
my question.
Okay, we can look into it since you brought it up, but I'll look into it maybe a little.
Great.
Cool. So, do you want to talk about what Donald Trump said
Yeah. Where did he say this, by the way? Truth Social?
on Truth Social? Yeah.
Okay.
He calls for a redo of the 2020 election immediately. He said, so now it comes out conclusively that the FBI buried the Hunter Biden laptop story before the election, knowing that if they didn't, Trump would have easily won the 2020 presidential election. This is massive fraud and election interference at a level never seen before in our country. Remedy, declare the rightful winner, or, and this would be the minimal solution, declare the 2020 election irreparably compromised and have a new election immediately, he said. So that's, I don't know, that's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, but like the crazy thing is that he's not wrong about whatever he said in this, right? Like, do you agree with the
Yeah,
factual
sure.
basis of
The
things he
Biden,
said?
yeah, I guess it's true that they covered up the Biden laptop story and that was like collusion to interfere with the election. So sure, that may have had an effect on the election, and it could have had the effect possibly of changing the election results, possibly if more people had known that story. Although although some people still did find out about the story, so I'm not sure.
Do you think there's enough anger on the MAGA side of the political aisle to like have some sort of, demand like he's asking to be made? You know what I mean? Like he's
Um,
asking for a new election. Like that's not just a soft ask. That's like a demand.
yeah, I know.
So does he
Do
have
I
enough
think
people who are going to do something about that?
no, no, because he doesn't have any like mainstream Republicans who are going to go along with that.
Right.
They're mostly saying that the election happened, even though, yeah, now of course it's I think this is all because of Rogan having on Zuckerberg.
Hmm.
Is now they're saying, oh, there was interference in the election, and there was interference.
The thing about this storyline, it's really like a movie narrative, right? Like it's just scene after scene after scene. Like, oh yeah, okay, we have Zuckerberg on Rogan, and he'll spill the beans, and then Trump will pick it up, and then he'll demand a civil war, and then what next? Like, are we gonna have a false flag next? Is that what's up? Are we gonna have another guy try to break into the FBI? Like, I'm tired. I'm tired of the movie.
Are you?
Oh, well, it's tiring. Like I'm grateful to be able to observe the collapse of the empire, but it's exhausting some days.
I understand. I know how you feel. Donald Trump also said that agents at the FBI are going to say that we aren't going to take it anymore. And he thinks that people at the FBI need to stand up against what the FBI is doing. So that's all. So that's the news with Trump. Then I have, let's see. I have Joe Rogan talking about voting for Republicans. Do you want me to play that?
Yeah, let's see. Let's see the election propaganda machine.
He talked to Aaron Rodgers. I was listening to that interview today. It's interesting. Somewhat not interesting at certain points, but here he just said, or well, here's the clip. Let me play
no
it.
one who is alive today had ever experienced a true pandemic. And I'm hoping that now that this is over, people are going to, recognize that some serious errors were made and not repeat those. That's the best you can get out of it.
So what do you tell those people?
Vote Republican. That's what a lot of them are going to do anyway.
Yeah?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, more than 1 million people transferred over to the Republican Party, I think, in 2021 alone. Find out what that number is. But, you look at guys like Ron DeSantis, who kept Florida open and had some pretty reasonable policies in terms of, like, what to do about COVID. And, he mapped it out on television. He was, widely criticized for this, where he was saying, like, we need to protect our elders. We need to, make sure that medical care is available for those people, and everyone else. You should be able to do whatever you want to do. Protect your freedom. No one who is alive today had ever experienced a true
So there you go. He said, so he's going to support DeSantis is what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So he's going to support DeSantis. A few other people I know are to support DeSantis. I think basically Cernovich pretty much supports DeSantis. So it's up to like the people who are going to be late to come over, or people like maybe Posobiec, Candace Owen, like people who are maybe more likely to stick with Trump. But some people, more intellectual people, have switched over, including Alex Jones, really.
Yeah. The people on the pulse of like the alt-right truther conspiracy woo movement are going DeSantis. The out of touch rhinos are going Trump.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, I don't know what to call Candace Owen, but I assume she's going to stick with Trump, And obviously Marjorie Taylor Greene and a lot of those characters are still sticking with the Trump thing. But some people, other people, I know who else, that cartoonist that
Mhm.
that said that he would kill his son recently.
Oh, Scott Adams.
Scott Adams, yeah, he also came out like in favor maybe of DeSantis over Trump. And I did say that he is now favored to win the Republican nomination in betting odds.
You know what's interesting? This FBI raid took place in Florida, you know, where Ron
Oh,
DeSantis is the governor.
right.
That's interesting.
Yeah, some people said that. How did Ron DeSantis allow that to happen?
Well, that's maybe the wrong question. Maybe it's, did Ron DeSantis allow this to happen?
Right, to go after. Sure. That's a theory. That's a conspiracy theory. I don't think so, but it's possible. Speaking of yeah.
Oh, I was just going to ask your updated betting preference as well as your personal preference on the Republican candidate for president.
Tulsi Gabbard is my preferred Republican candidate, even though she hasn't yet announced herself. She would be my preferred candidate. After that, I guess I would say Rand Paul. And then maybe after that, I would say DeSantis. But then as far as what I would bet on, I'd say DeSantis should have a good chance. Like I feel like he does. I feel like he's a much better candidate than Trump overall. I think he's less divisive, but then again, he might be kind of divisive. So I'm not sure I'm just not sure how the left is going to react when things get serious and if DeSantis gets more traction, exactly how they're going to try to demonize him.
Yeah, it's not going to be pretty.
No, I mean,
I'm going to copy your preferences, by the way, on that. I'm going to say Tulsi, Ron or Rand, and then DeSantis. That's my order of operations on favorite characters.
That's cool. So we're on board. We have similar thoughts and ideas. So what about for the Democratic side? This is a story in the news. Bernie Sanders is apparently the highest favorability rating of all the Democrats for 2024.
No. Bernie, the old one, the one, Bernie? Vermont?
Yeah, Bernie. That's what it says. That's what this poll says from the Hill. USA Today Ipsos poll said that Bernie Sanders has the highest favorability rating among all 2024 contenders.
But like certainly not electability rating, right? Like no one, they might like him, like they like their great grandfather, but they're not going to vote for him, right?
At least had a somewhat favorable view of him. That's all. Yeah. And he ranked higher than Biden and higher than Trump too. So
I mean, I get it. You know, he's like the old wizard character in all of the fantasy movies, like Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings. He's like the version of that for the Democrats.
Yeah, he's a sellout. He's just a real sellout, though, isn't he?
They all are. Dumbledore was a sellout too.
Oh, really? Dumbledore? Are you talking about Harry Potter?
Yeah.
Really? So you just made a Harry Potter reference?
For my millennials out there, hey.
I don't even know what that means. Dumbledore was a... What did you say?
I said Dumbledore was a sellout too.
Was he really?
Totally.
Who did he sell out to? Voldemort?
I can't get into this Harry Potter lore right now. I'm not well versed enough, but he sold out.
Did you see this video from the CDC?
No.
Okay, check it out.
Stay safe from COVID-19. You already got your COVID-19 shot. Your doctor says you need a booster shot. Doctors say the booster shot will help keep you from getting very sick from COVID-19. Today, you go to the pharmacy to get the booster shot. You wait for the bus. You wear a mask so you won't get sick. When you get there, wait your turn. Keep a safe distance from other people. The nurse gives you the booster shot. Now you are all done. The COVID-19 booster shot helps keep you from getting very sick from COVID-19. When you get home, you rest. Your arm hurts. You will feel better in a few days. Your family and friends also get the COVID-19 booster shot. Get a COVID-19 booster shot.
Shut the fuck
That's
up.
a
That is not
that's a
real.
yeah, that's a
That
real
is
thing.
not real.
Yeah. Do you think it was an AI voice doing it, or do you think it was a real person?
It could be either. This one, I don't know.
You get the COVID-19 booster shot. Yeah, I know that's crazy shit, right? Yep, that's apparently from the CDC. And then I have and other news about vaccines.
But that's
In
like
other news, yeah,
that's literally like the commercial they would play in a horror movie where they were
I know,
advertising a vaccine that eventually like turned everyone into a zombie.
I know
Like
exactly. I
like
know.
it's such unconvincing garbage. It's not even good instructions. It's like are they even trying? What are they
Wait
doing?
for the bus.
Wait
Wait
for
for the
the
bus.
bus.
I know.
The
That's
fucking bus, bro.
to get the vaccine. Crazy.
You know, it's going to be current one day when they put everyone into camps and then like buses will be the only form of transportation. Like a car or subway won't make sense anymore. They'll like get on the
Yeah,
bus to
that's
go
what
to
they.
the sorting facility.
Yeah, you have a good voice to do AI. You have a good AI voice.
Hey, I'll take offers if anyone wants me to voice an AI.
Yes. So check this out regarding the vaccine. The Omicron specific booster is going to be approved without human testing.
Oh,
Did you hear that?
nope.
Yeah, they're going to approve it after some testing on mice.
Just some testing on mice. Do they get
Yeah.
specific?
No, that's it. And then they say, look at this headline. It says, new Omicron specific COVID booster expected to be approved before trial data is in. And then it says, quote, the vaccines are safe, unquote. FDA commissioner says clearance is similar to the approach the FDA takes with flu shots.
Who is the FDA commissioner?
So check this out. This is what's crazy about these. They're calling them booster shots. And apparently they're targeted towards the latest version of Omicron. And it says they won't have finished testing in humans when the FDA makes its decision. They're going to use it from just previous mRNA vaccines to say that the mRNA vaccines work. So they're going to approve it. And if you want to get the Omicron specific booster shot, apparently, like let's say you hadn't gotten vaccinated yet, and you thought because you're like, oh well, the vaccines don't work. I heard. Let's say you're thinking about getting the shot, and then you see that everybody who got the vaccine still got COVID. So you said, well, that's stupid. I'm not going to get that vaccine because obviously it doesn't work. But now I hear there's a new vaccine that actually is targeted toward this variant. I'll get that. But they'll say, no, first you have to get the other vaccine.
Isn't that terrifying?
Isn't that great?
Like,
First,
we've
yeah.
gotten to the stage in the program where they're only servicing those who they know that they've already fucked, you know?
Mhm.
They're like, I'm not wasting any of this juice on the newbies over there who aren't part of the experiment. Like, I only want you fucked up mudbloods, Harry Potter reference again, who have all this vaccine in you.
Mhm.
Let's test it out. Let's put the pedal to the metal, full speed ahead. You know, it's only available for them. It's fucked up. They're downsizing the experiment
I
because
know.
the rest of us didn't fall for it. Because no one who doesn't have it now would want it anyway, right? Like, can you imagine someone who hasn't gotten it but is still considering it?
I don't think that's happening. No, yeah, I don't think that's happening.
There's no way.
Not without some kind of pressure or something. Okay, and then I have other news about the vaccines. This is what else we're going to do, and then we'll wrap up the show. I think we did a good job doing a
I
show
think
today.
so.
Yeah, I mean, it's good for us to get out there and do something, even if you don't appear on camera. It's still worthwhile. So here's two clips of Ducey and Jean-Pierre talking about the vaccine. Let me show the correct screen. Ducey, and St. Pierre. All right, here we go.
Protocols, I'd refer you to them. They have their own specific protocols as well. So they're two different things.
But so how is it two different things? Somebody unvaccinated comes over on a plane. You say that's not okay. Somebody walks into Texas or Arizona unvaccinated, they're allowed to stay. Why?
But that's not how it works. Like we actually, no.
I know that that's not what you guys want to happen, but that is what is happening.
But that's not, it's not like somebody walks over and that's not how
Exactly what's happening.
well,
Thousands of people are walking in a day. Some of them turn themselves over. Some of them are caught. Tens of thousands a week are not. That is what is happening.
so let me just lay out what we have done under this administration. We have installed new border technology and set up joint
Give
protocols
me a
with
break.
Mexico.
So anyway, she goes on, says, yes, there's that, and then this
She's a,
was,
she's a cute girl, but like no stage presence.
yeah, she's definitely doesn't have as much going for her as the redhead. You know?
Yeah, she can't sell it. She knows she's lying, like, and she feels it. She doesn't
Yeah.
enjoy it like the redhead did.
Yeah, the redhead had more personality for sure, and I liked making fun of her more too, basically. But anyway, here she is again.
How come migrants are allowed to come into this country unvaccinated, but world-class tennis players are not?
Right? You're talking about which world-class tennis player.
Novak Djokovic.
So as for, just since you asked about me about him, you asked me about him. So visa records are confidential under U.S. law. Therefore, the U.S. government cannot discuss the details of individual
She's so
visa
nervous.
cases. Due to privacy reasons, the U.S. government also does not comment on medical information of individual travelers as it relates to the tennis player. Look, those questions regarding vaccination requirements is I defer you to CDC. This is a CDC requirement for foreign nationals. This is something that they decide. This is something that is up to them. The U.S. Open and their participant protocols, I refer you to them. They have their own specific protocols as well.
So she blames the CDC for the policy.
I mean, it is the CDC's policy, but at the same time, like, what environment facilitated the policy shifts?
Yeah, exactly.
What have gas prices near you been doing lately?
They went down. It's $5.45 at the gas station I go to right now. It got up to a maximum of about $6.29 at that gas station, I believe. So it's gone down from where it was, but it's still extremely expensive.
Okay.
I'm thinking about getting a hybrid vehicle when I had not previously considered that option. Not
Why?
a battery powered vehicle, but a hybrid one. Well, because some of them have really high gas mileage. They get like 40 miles a gallon. And when gas is like over $5, it makes a difference.
Wait, but you said your hybrid wouldn't have a battery. Do hybrids not have lithium batteries?
No, it wouldn't, but it wouldn't be a plug-in. I mean, it wouldn't be a plug-in.
Okay.
You can get the ones that charge off the engine, I guess, and then they just give you better fuel economy, like a Prius.
Oh, that's what Priuses do. You don't have to plug it into your wall and start an apartment fire with a Prius.
Right, you don't have to. Right. You can get some that plug in, and then you get more range out of them if you get the kind that plug in. But you can get some that don't, and that just have a battery that also supplements the engine, so it gives you better fuel economy.
Wow.
And yeah, before I thought it maybe wasn't that great an idea, but now I've been thinking about it because gas is expensive. How much does it cost where you live?
I don't know. It's been going up and down. It's been, well, I don't want to say because that'll dox me. Lower than yours. Fuck California.
I know. Things in California are crazy. It's impossible to live here. And then if you wanted to get, like, if I wanted to get a hybrid vehicle, I would have to wait probably a year for it to arrive. You know, that's the status of trying to buy cars right now. So it is a crazy environment.
Have you been running into any difficulties purchasing things? Like, are there any items you're trying to get that are delayed or out of stock, like a car?
No, only if I wanted to get a car. Yeah, because if I get another job, then we'll get another car, and then it will be challenging. It looks like I've looked around, and there aren't things aren't like if you wanted to go get, for example, a hybrid, you couldn't. They wouldn't have it in stock. You'd have to wait for it. Probably any of them. RAV4, the I don't know, the Hyundai, all of them.
Well, if anyone from those manufacturers is listening, Nathan and I are open to sponsorship deals. We will take your cars.
Yeah, sure. If you want to sponsor us by giving us a vehicle, that's cool too. And I'd even, if you want to give me a vehicle and then have me do deliveries or something with it to pay for it, that's fine too. Whatever. Yeah, no big deal. Yeah, that's cool if you want to sponsor the show. Let me see if I want to give shout outs to people on Rockfin. We got one super chat on Rockfin, Retod, who says, I'm willing to give $10 to support the show. I'm not willing to use deadly force or any force or care at all to punish someone for owing money to the people that spend our money on things we don't want. So there you go. Thank you for that. Thank you for that tip. I appreciate it. And anybody else who wants to support the show financially can do it all the different ways we mentioned. The easiest way is the tips on Rockfin or going to jelena.net where you have to buy me a coffee and stuff.
We're going to get a buy me a coffee for this webpage. We're going to get you a link tree and a buy me a coffee and make this simpler for everybody.
Okay, sure. In the meantime, check out our t-shirts, truthclothing.io. And yeah, my Substack, or lifttheveil.substack.com. You can become a subscriber. Lots of different ways. You ready to wrap things up?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's been a good one. This was good.
Like an hour. Yeah, it was a good Monday show. We overcame our any hesitation to do the show. We came and did the show.
So, yeah, we both were like, eh.
I wasn't sure, but we did it. So that's good.
Amen. All right. Hallelujah.
So we'll see you guys the next time we come back. And thanks everybody. Thanks everybody who supports the show. We will see you the next time. That is what it is.